Hey guys, I'm back with another book review, and in tonight's book review, I'm going to be discussing Clive Barker's Hellbound Heart. This is from HarperCollins. It comes in at 164 pages. It's pretty short. It is a novella, and this particular edition was released in um, I don't know, 2007. This was a reissue of 2007. Probably should have had that in front of me before I started the video, but anyway, if you're a horror fan, Clive Barker needs no introduction. He is a multifaceted artist. He's a painter, a director, a writer, a screenwriter, and The Hellbound Heart is a book that every October I keep in my rotation. So from, in every October I just read it. And it gets me in the mood for Halloween and the fun festivities. And it's a really good book, too. Like I said, it's very short, so it goes by very quickly, and I love the characters. And there's something, the way this book is written, Clive Barker has a way with words, and I love to immerse myself in this book every year. It is one of my favorites. But let's get into the plot a little bit, shall we? Now, everybody should know that the Hellbound Heart, and if you don't know, that's fine. But the Hellbound Heart is Hellraiser. It's Clive Barker took his novella, turned it into Hellraiser, and that's essentially what we have here. So Frank Cotton is this man. The book starts out with this guy named Frank Cotton. He's this guy who is really just bored with life. There's nothing that can really please him. There's nothing that he really desires. And he comes upon this box, this puzzle box. In the book, it's called, I believe it's called the Merchant's Box. And it's this pretty lacquered square thing, and he's, playing with it, and he solves the puzzle. And when he solves the puzzle, he is promised pleasure. And this is when the Cenobites come into play. And the Cenobites are this other dimensional demons. They come from a different dimension, and they come to take Frank Cotton because he solved the box. So he doesn't get what he thinks he's going to get. In fact, he is tortured, and it's not a very pleasant experience for Mr. Cotton. And as the book goes along, we're also introduced to Rory and his wife Julia, who are moving into the house. And I'm going to be a little spoiler. I'm going to give some spoilers here, so, heed that warning now. But Julia and Rory are married. Rory is the brother of Frank. And a week before their wedding, Julia and Frank had an affair. And Julia is extremely bored in her marriage. She is not happy with Rory. She doesn't even really like Rory at all. So there's like that interesting dynamic there, and they have a mutual friend called named Kirsty, who comes over, and Kirsty, it's kind of hinted that she kind of likes Rory a little bit, I guess. Or if anything else, she really feels bad for him, and she knows Julia is not the best person for Rory. But the story goes along, and Frank Cotton is trapped inside of this bedroom where he opened the box, where he solved the puzzle of this box. And he is completely depleted of everything. Like, he's not even in human form. So he calls out to Julia, and he needs bodies. He needs blood. And so Julia goes on this adventure, or these escapades, to get Frank bodies. And she brings back these men from local pubs, kills them, and lets Frank feast on these bodies until Frank is one again, a whole body. And then Julia believes that they will live happily ever after. Um, that's essentially the story. And if you've seen Hellraiser, it is very very close to the novella, very close, which is probably why Clive Barker decided to direct his own material. Um, the writing is, like I said earlier, is phenomenal. It's almost poetic. I love the language. I love the visceral, um, the way he approaches it. The characters are all very, very, very unique. Julia is completely despicable. She is very, very unlikable, but her character is extremely interesting, and you almost want to see everything backfire on her because of how miserable she is. And Frank Cotton does not care about Julia. Frank Cotton is out for himself. Once he gets once his body's intact and he's back in human form, uh, he's not going to want anything to do with Julia at all. And it's interesting too because Rory is the husband, the caring husband, but he's very very naive. He's naive to all of this stuff, and as he should be because he hasn't seen his brother Frank in months or years or however long it's been. So he doesn't even know Frank is living in this house. So as I said, the book is very good. It's well written. There's not much I could say because I think a lot of people have either seen the film or read this book, and it's just a really good horror tale. And this was one book that I picked up by Clive Barker like years ago, and it automatically I was like I got to read more of this guy's work. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And the fact that it's so short is even better too. And let me point out that Pinhead isn't really he's not really Pinhead in this. I mean, he's described as this guy with a grid with pins sticking out of it, but they don't really refer to him. He's almost like he's not really a big player in this. Like he's a part of the Cenobites and he's there, but he's not as popular as he became like after the film and stuff like that. But definitely just an interesting story, very unique for its time. And when these Cenobites come, I mean, they are there to torture you, and you know, essentially they're there to take you with them. And Frank Cotton has escaped them. Somehow he has escaped them, and he has stayed in this room, and the Cenobites don't really even know about it. So now they are back to get Frank, and that's interesting as well because Frank and Julia are the worst human beings in this book. They are just horrible, but they're intriguing. Frank Cotton is like one of my favorite villains of all time, and it's such a short book, but I mean, he's just the way he speaks, the way he commands, the way he seems to have everything in his control when really when it comes to the Cenobites, he's got really nothing in his control, and he's going to be at the mercy of them. But he plays Julia like a fiddle, and that's just the kind of person he is. Uh, as I said, this is a good book. Check it out, read it, reread it if you have read it. It's just it's really I don't really there's not really much else to say about the book. Um, One of my favorite books of all time, and I read it at least once a year, and I've been doing that regularly since 2007, 2008. I just always go back to it. Never disappoints. It's a good quick read, and I feel like I know it from front to back now because I'm just so familiar with it. And I do, Hellraiser the film isn't one of my favorite films. I don't if I see it on TV or if I have the movies laying around, I'll watch it, but it's not nearly as interesting as the book. And I know that's kind of cliche to say, but I'm a huge movie lover. I love movies. But Hellraiser's just not one of my favorite movies. I mean, I like it. I like it just like the next horror fan. But when it comes to literature, the Hellbound heart is top notch to me. But That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will be back shortly with another video. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.